Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. It's 8 o'clock on 6 o'clock on the East Coast. What is it? What time is it now? I don't even know. I got so many time zones running through my head because
it's
of
9 o'clock.
The
It's
network.
8 o'clock on the East Coast.
Holy cow. Coming to you live from the Tabletop RPG Network. This is our August 2020 roundtable. We've got 6 of us tonight. We're missing several of our channel creators. Wish them all the best, and like Rob said, F them. We're gonna get going anyways. So we've got a new face. This has actually been quite a few months in the making, but welcome Gary, aka Murder Hobo Show.
Thanks,
Gary,
Dave. It's special having you court me.
Yeah, I've had a lot going on in the last couple months with work. Obviously, everybody in the world has a lot of stuff going on, but I've had a lot going on with my mother being sick. She's currently in a rehabilitation center now, so hopefully she'll get better and get back. So hoping. So anyways, what do you mean, Rob? My mic is shit.
Well, it's either you or Bell. I can't tell who it is, but there's a constant static all the not constant, but it's like that. And
well, I think it's
me?
No,
it's probably mine.
I think it's just from people not having push to talk. So if you don't have push to talk and your mic sensitivity isn't
no, it's you. It's you, Dave.
How is it me? I just read it.
I don't know, but am I the only one? Do you guys hear that?
I don't hear it.
No, I don't hear it.
Really?
Dave,
I just heard it then.
Weird.
You said your mom's in rehab now. Was it crack or heroin?
It's actually a little bit of both, Gary. So it's just a little bit of both.
Your mom's got that go hard or go home style about her, right?
She does. She's a party animal from the baby boomer years. So yeah. I've got my voice meter up there on the screen. So yeah, everything looks good. Rob, I don't know what's going on. Tighten up on your end. Maybe it's that brick wall.
No. Yeah. Now I'm hearing it all the time. It could be me. It could absolutely be me. I don't know what would be making that noise though. It's really weird.
I mean, you're of the age. You should probably get your ears checked.
No, it's not that.
Ooh.
It's a definite static,
Hey, wait a minute.
mechanical sound.
Wow.
Look, young lady. I'm sorry.
Shots fired from the youngster.
I only mean that to Rob and no one else.
So welcome everybody. Welcome Gary to the network. This is something that he and I have been going back and forth about over the last several months actually. And I was able to get some time and sit down with him and get him signed up. So I think that takes us up to 10 channels, I think 9 or 10 channels now. Hey Worm, what's up? Welcome Worm. So yeah. So this month we are going to be talking about our favorite non-Dungeons and Dragons games that we've played. And, if there's more than one, hey, if there's more than one, feel free to talk about as many as you want to. I mean, that's the great thing about, playing games. There's a lot of other great games out there just besides the main staples. And unfortunately, I didn't experience it. Well, I did as a youngster, but as an adult, most of my life, if it didn't say TSR, or if it didn't say Wizards of the Coast, I was like, by default, it was just, that's garbage. You know what I mean? But that was a serious flaw, and I don't recommend that, by the way, because trust me, there are so many good games out there. So we're going to go ahead and go with the new guy, Gary. We're going to put you on the spot first. So what are some of your favorite games that are non-D&D related?
I'll give you 3 guesses, Dave, if you can tell me what the first one is.
I bet you the first one will probably be Savage Worlds or ICRPG.
Pokemon.
Co-host of the Wild Die podcast. We do a bi-weekly podcast Me and my buddy Eric Lamoureux, Bell knows him. He's the creator of Wise Guys. But yeah, Savage Worlds, man, 100%. There's two systems that I currently play. Savage Worlds, because I love acing dice, the simplicity of the system, the 3 wounds, no tracking hit points, no screwing around. It's the other nice feature about it too is edges and hindrances. You don't really have hindrances in D&D. You know what I mean? Like you can always be. It's the cool part about it. You got to play a flaw, and that flaw can work to your advantage if you play it well enough. And then ICRPG is basically it's D&D with it's like the Black Hack. Super simple, man. It's like, but my favorite part about ICRPG is, you know, when you guys are probably all familiar with this. When you sit down and you're saying to your players, you know, you walk into a saloon and you describe the scene and you're like, what do you guys do? And then there's that silence that just sort of hangs there. Well, you wait for somebody to either speak up or not say, you know, they either say a thing or they all speak at once or nobody speaks. And so the nice part about ICRPG is it gets rid of initiative. It goes around in a circle and you're sort of dealing one-on-one, which gives everybody at the table a chance to sort of input or influence the story in a way. And yeah, so between those two systems, those are my two favorite. I play a lot of ICRPG. That's my go-to right now. It's so simple. I don't even have to look up rules ever, which you should never do anyway, as far as I'm concerned. But it's ridiculously simple. It's my favorite.
Yeah, you sent me a copy of that on drive-through, and I liked what I saw. I mean, it's just there's so many games, Gary, and just not enough time to play them all. That's the bad thing about it.
Well, they're both universal systems, so you know you just learn the one system, and you're good to play anything. You can play space, western, sci-fi, horror, all that kind of stuff. Savage Worlds does a really good job of pulp, among other things. And ICRPG is the same way. It's universal. In fact, out of the gate, it comes with a system called Warp Shell. And it's like the sci-fi one, kind of the deal. It's got Warp Shell and it's got Alfheim, which are the two settings. One of them is fantasy, which is the Alfheim one. But the cool part about the Warp Shell one is how they handle travel. You actually live in a sentient ship. So this ship's called a Warp Shell, and it basically it takes you to where the trouble is. And you come out of, I guess, cold storage or cryo freeze or whatever, wherever the adventure begins. So there's none of that screwing around with how do I get there? Do I have enough provisions? Do I have enough coin? It's like you're part of the ship and it takes you where the trouble is. So I guess that's kind of gimmicky, but every adventure sort of feels like a one shot or could be a one shot because, you know, the ship just pops you out where you're supposed to be. And then there you go. It's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, and there is a Western setting too, by the way, for ICRPG and a pirate one. And there's 1,000 conversions because the community's pretty active.
That's pretty cool. So are there a lot of is there a lot of published content for it, or is it just like the core rules and that's pretty much it, and the rest is based off of the community?
No, there was the original one, so there's ICRPG version 1, but it's actually in the second edition. It's current, third edition's being printed. But if you've ever followed that guy, Drunken and Dragons, his name is Brandish Gilhelm, or Hanker Infernal. The guy's phenomenal. He's a super talented artist. Like the guy can draw like you wouldn't believe. And he's got card games and all sorts of stuff. He's got like a deck of cards for Ghost Mountain. It's Ghost Mountain's the whatchamacallit one. But you want to talk about community conversions. Holy crap, man. There's a gazillion of them. There's a couple of guys, Dave Thomavor, that's created some like pirates and stuff like that. But basically, there's even a Fallout conversion for it. Like it's so simple to use. It's converting is actually even almost is so easy that there's a ton of them. You can just get a phenomenal amount of stuff for it.
Yeah, Savage Worlds is the same way, Gary. From what I've seen, there's a lot of Warhammer conversions, Star Wars conversions. Hell, there's even the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons conversions that have been done for Savage Worlds. So it's a pretty versatile system, just like, I like Savage Worlds just because I play anything but fantasy with it. I won't do fantasy with it, but I'll do everything else. So
that's part of the problem. There really isn't there's good fantasy settings if you like Shaintar or Hellfrost, but there is really sort of no D&D kind of setting for it. There is no sort of like Forgotten Realms basic kind of fantasy that comes straight from Pinnacle.
Yeah.
But when you have Deadlands, if you like the Wild West, man, Deadlands Weird West is top notch. Like it's super cool. Plus you got Last Part.
Yeah.
East Texas University. That is another freaking sleeper setting. You actually play college students at a Texas high school, and it's all about horror and stuff like that. So you go around investigating, and there's like seances and just weird stuff like that, ghosts appearance.
Ouija
you go camp
boards and Bloody Mary games, and
it's a full-on sleeper setting. It's really fun.
And I like it because it's in 4 parts, and you could go through your freshman year, your sophomore, your junior, and senior years. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
What happens if you want to CLEP out of a year? Can you do that by taking a test?
I don't know if you could check the tests, but yeah. And then, like I was saying, I want to mention Wise Guys because my buddy Eric created probably one of my favorite settings to date, which is Wise Guys, which is basically 85 Mafia, 1985, but Rico didn't come in, so the mob was never kicked out of Vegas. They're still in control, so you play Mafia men. And the nice part about that Mafia setting is that everybody's familiar with it. You don't have to explain the backstory or explain the setting to anybody or anything. We all know what mobsters are like. And there's that sort of that thing where all mobsters love their moms, right? So you're always like looking out for your mom, and she gives you shit, and you pay attention to what she's saying. But then, on the other hand, she's making you meatballs, or some kind of mozzarella something or other, and you're out trying to bury somebody in the desert, kind of a thing. You come home for dinner, right? It's pretty neat. It's fantastic. It's really good.
You got Eddie Spaghetti and Guido following you around. You know what I mean? Hey,
he did a cool thing too. Like
have a bowl of spaghetti,
right? You got to do that stuff, and you're always doing the Italian. He doesn't do, hey, what's happening, kind of a thing. But
it's me, Mario. No, wait a minute.
A really cool feature of this game where, when you sit down, like along with your bennies, you get a contact. And they're just random. So your contact might be able to get rid of a body. Maybe he's a car driver. So if you need a getaway vehicle, you can call him up, right? And as you play these things, you get advantages for rolling them out if you can actually use them. You should have seen him at the convention game at Con on the Cob. He actually had a thumb that was like cut off, and he had it wrapped in a like a. Nice. So he would hand it to the first person, and they could use it like a special Benny and stuff like that. And then if you'd used it, you pass it to the next person. Nice. But it was pretty good. But you had to use the thumb. You had to use the cut off thumb in some way. So, you'd be like, if you wanted to threaten somebody or intimidate them, you could be like, show them the thumb. It's like, you wanted me to do this to you? Yeah. It was pretty neat.
You have to call the cleaner service.
Yeah, you can be a cleaner in the game, which is pretty cool. That's one of the levels, or sort of a skill thing that you got going on there, is cleaning the deal up.
That was actually the last Kickstarter that I backed. I don't back many Kickstarters anymore, but I actually backed that one. I was like, 80s Mafia? What the hell? So
yeah, I've never not been a game that wasn't wicked fun, because you're just doing drugs and shooting people, and you know how to do it.
Great couple of games. What about you, Belle? What about a couple of systems, or one or two, or systems that aren't Dungeons and Dragons? What are your favorites out there?
Well, one I played when I was younger, Champions.
All right. Haven't heard that one in years. Wow.
You there?
Yeah, I haven't heard that one in years.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear other people. I've been having technical difficulties all day. Champions, I played that when I was younger.
Wow.
That was
Champions, an excellent superhero role-playing game. Champions.
Yeah, I played it with my stepbrother and his gang. So I was the little kid allowed to come in and sit at the table and kill people.
I think what was awesome about Champions is that it introduced kind of like drawbacks or hindrances or whatever you want to call them, like weaknesses. So it allowed you to kind of not just build your, copy your Superman type or whatever, and then just roll with that as the most powerful creature. You could get stuff that were pretty weak.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you had a sidekick, of course, that was a weakness in itself.
How so?
Yeah, I played Emerald, I played Emerald, and my sister was Ruby.
Aww. Go Jewel twins.
Holding back. Wonder Power twins.
Well, I thought you said Wonder Power urchins, and I was like, "What? Is that some kind of fish creature?" Wonder Power urchins, and if you step on it, somebody has to pee on your foot. That's the problem with Wonder Power urchins.
Ew.
If you step on an urchin, you get that stinging, just like if you step on a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
And
Then
one of the
Chandler
ways
has to pee on Monica's leg. That's right.
Yeah, that's one of the things you do. I remember I grew up in the Philippine Islands, and I remember being at the beach, and my girlfriend's little brother stepped on something, and he had to ask some random guy to pee on him. So
Oh,
that
I always thought if you step on it, it hurts so bad you piss yourself. I had it confused.
no, but you could do that, I guess. But it just burns. But I guess when you urinate on it, it's supposed to just the acid in your urine is supposed to just take all the sting away.
I thought
That's what I told my girlfriend.
Like a small child, like a homeless kid, and you're stepping on him.
Well, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. I don't have to go to the bathroom right now, but can you piss on my jellyfish one, please?
Yeah, it's always good. You're like, okay, who needs to pee?
As long as you start with "Excuse me, sir," then that's fine.
Yeah.
Would you please urinate on me? I mean, that seems a little crazy. I mean, nowadays you can probably, find any pictures, like get somebody to urinate on you for nothing.
I mean, you could probably even say, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you urinate on my jellyfish?"
Yeah, it would just be kind of wild. It would be all over your leg and stuff because the aim is off.
What do you got?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we
It's
went
true.
from champions
And-
to whatever.
You did it.
Excuse me, sir, or madam, because you don't know.
Your fault.
That took a sideways turn.
So, Belle, has Champions gone through any other editions or anything through the years, or is just Champions? Because I don't remember of any other. I just remember
haven't
Champions,
played
and
it
that's
since
it.
the 80s.
Yeah, I wonder if there's
For
any
me,
other editions.
that's the only other game I've played other than Pathfinder and Dungeons.
Yeah, champions have gone through some editions, but they haven't been updated. But I'll tell you what, our Drive Through RPG just maybe a month or two ago, maybe 3. I don't know. My months are off because of the whole quarantine stuff. But a few months ago, they ran this kind of humble bundle where you could buy every book that Champions had for like $100 or something on PDF. So it's really excellent.
Oh wow!
Well,
There's
that doesn't
so-
help us now if it's
Oh my
not
God, it's
available
like-
anymore.
Wow.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, we
Champions
always, if you are a member of the Tabletop RPG Network Discord channel, we do post the humble bundles. Well, the humble bundles all the time for the books. So, yeah, but we didn't start doing that at the time. But I remember Traveler was like that a couple of years ago.
Oh,
and we
Traveler,
were talking
yeah.
about it then, and you got like 80 PDFs for it was like $15 or something like that. I mean, it was just of all the different systems and quadrants and everything. That was pretty cool. And Pathfinder had a hell of a deal too for Pathfinder 2 and also Pathfinder First Edition. You got like every Pathfinder First Edition PDF for like $18 about 3 months ago. I mean, that was just insane. So yeah, check out those humble bundles. Those are good.
I bought that bundle.
There's currently they've got a Star Trek, the new Star Trek Adventures. They've got all their stuff for like a buck or whatever, the higher
Oh,
levels.
did it really?
Yeah.
The new version, right? The one that just came out?
Yeah, the brand new one. Because I bought
Really?
everything. I bought every PDF that was available for that. But when I did it, it was like $120 or something. It's still a great deal.
Yeah.
But now the Humble Bundle has it. You can just go to humblebundle.com and they got a bunch of that stuff.
Wow. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to put
So
that into the...
I don't know
channel.
why they do that. I don't know if they do it because maybe there's rumors of some new version going to get released. So everybody's like, well, let's get rid of the old ones, but they're PDFs and digital.
No,
So
We're going
It
to
makes
run
it
out of
okay.
digital copies.
Yeah.
We're going to run out. Limited
Hurry!
time
They do it for
only.
charity, and they people donate more than you need
Yeah.
to, and they make a lot of money. So it's it's good.
Yeah, it's
It's like
win-win.
why does anybody put anything on sale so they can just get
Yeah.
more out there?
Yeah, it's definitely win-win because it goes, like you said, Rob, it goes for a good cause to different charities every bundle. And plus, it also helps the company as well, especially during times like this when, a lot of people are out of work and stuff. So, yeah, it's win-win. So do you
Yeah.
have any other games, Belle, that you like besides Champions that wasn't D&D?
So far, that's all I've ever played.
Wow. Total.
we got to get her hooked up with something else.
I would say, well, I believe a few other DMs have approached me in the last few days for games other than so.
Oh,
Next
well,
time.
Nice. Wow.
that almost sounds naughty, actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
Also-
maybe this tabletop network's finally gonna Mix you up with somebody.
Like, hey, do you want to play some Dungeon Crawl Classics with me? Hey, what about Call of Cthulhu?
Well,
I want
about
to
I
kill
roll-
more of your characters.
It's gonna be
I'd
ERP
love to-
at midnight.
I'd love to come over and roll for initiative, if you know what I mean.
Wink, wink.
I believe there's eventually going to be a Monday game
Mhm,
run by a certain DM.
Oh wow.
Bill,
There
I'll
will be.
beg Eric Glamour if he'll run some Wise Guys. And then you can not only play Wise Guys, but you can play Savage Worlds as well. Run by a pro.
I can play my character in the Wise Guy book.
See,
Right.
that's a twofer. That's called a twofer right there.
Can I play a Jawa in Savage Worlds?
As long as you don't talk.
Yeah. Speaking of talking, Drake, what about you? What are some favorite non-D&D systems that you have?
Well, honorable mention has to be Marvel Superheroes role-playing game.
That was the one I was going to roll with. Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the best one for shaping somebody's future role playing game.
Yeah, we took a break from D&D and picked that what is it, the early 80s, mid 80s when that came out. It was like
1984, I think, is
my
when it
buddy
came
breaks
out.
this out. It's all the edges are all torn. It's like been in the trunk of his car. It's got like a rusty jack imprint on the cover. He's like, let's play this. I'm like, why not? We actually had a good time playing that. But the most fun I had, I think, of non D&D was Cyberpunk. That was really fun. Cyberpunk second edition, the Cyberpunk 2020, I think it was called. That was fun.
When did you play
You get
that?
it's
Was
like
that back in the
Johnny
80s?
Mnemonics. No, that was probably 95-ish. Oh no, probably a little earlier than that. Early 90s. 93-ish, 92-ish.
What'd you like about it? Sorry for all the questions.
It was just that
I love to hear this.
that whole sci-fi kind of on the edge of technology experience where you can, we actually played NPCs out of the campaign setting. I think, you could we got to pick one already pre-done, and I don't know, it's just the group that I was with and the stuff that we accomplished. I mean, it was one guy backstabbing another guy that was backstabbing everybody else. I mean, it was like
Nice.
at the end of the campaign, we were all like, so you were robbing us while we were robbing them, and and you killed my guy and he killed his guy, and there's like two guys left. One's flying off with all the loot and the other one's going the other way trying to get away.
So is it sort of like Shadowrun or something like that? Cyberpunk?
Yeah, it's very much like Shadowrun. It's you got like Rocker Boy and Solo of Fortune and Hardwired. It's like Johnny Mnemonic RPG. If you saw that movie, very very. I am Judge Dredd. Kind of.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
horrible movie. Sorry.
Yeah, but that whole scene, that whole
the whole
flying
world, that whole
motorcycles,
vibe, yeah.
yeah.
That's how
It's
I
just
always
different than
envisioned
D&D.
it. I always envisioned it as a Shadowrun. We had played Shadowrun a couple times as a kid, so that's what I always envisioned. That rule set sort of mirrored it.
I played Shadowrun too, and it was Shadowrun, but with less like trolls, and I think Shadowrun had like demi-humans in it. I don't remember too many demi-humans in Cyberpunk, if at all. Everybody was just like a nomad or from New York or whatever. It was like Americana kind of. I think it was German though.
Oh, the version
Who, me?
you were playing was German, or the setting was in Germany, like Berlin or something.
They had a setting in Germany, I think, because they redid something because of the Berlin Wall coming down and all that.
Yeah. I remember that when I was a kid, when that was happening. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down
Tear
that
down that wall.
Yay.
Why didn't every person repeat that with us? Why is that only the two of us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember grabbing
Yeah.
a bunch of rocks from outside my house and then taking them to school and then tried to sell them to everybody. Hey, dude, this is exactly from the Berlin Wall. $5. And so it was
Messed up.
Hey, man. I moved a lot. So right before I'd move, I'd go to the cafeteria and then I'd borrow money from people. Dude, can I have $1 for the vending machine? Just random. Go home with like $50 and then you move the next day. Boom. You never have to see those.
Man,
That's just how.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the best thing is that
Oh, no
when you
way.
move from place to place, it's like you could become a virgin all over again because it's all what you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Wow.
It's just
Is it
beautiful.
all what you
It
say?
is. Yeah, yeah.
How do you get your hymen back? That's what I want to know.
Just practice.
Is that
practice.
what it is?
Super glue. Super glue.
I like that you have no guilt about any of that.
note to self: do not lend you money.
Yeah, that's
You know what's funny, buddy? You're basically a criminal because only criminals think that way. You're like, yeah, I'm going to sell rock. I'm going to.
I was going to say sociopath, but criminal's a lot lighter, I guess.
Well, thank you. I guess.
It's a compliment because you know what? People in prison are smart enough to turn a toothbrush into a shank, and I would have never thought of that. You know what I mean? I would just choke somebody out with my hands till they died. I would have never thought to take a toothbrush or turn a shoelace into a freaking a book or something like that. They're witty people. They're smart.
See, you do
By the
not.
way, isn't
Go ahead,
it shiv? Shank is the verb, shiv is the noun, right?
I don't
Am
know.
I right?
Not if
I
you're
haven't been to prison. I could be wrong.
Well, if you're from
Shiv
Canada,
can
they got a whole
also be a
set of-
verb.
I think a shank can be both. And a shiv, I
And
think
shiv can be a verb.
it can be both. Yeah, because you could be shivved, or you could be hit with a shiv, or you could be.
All right, shiv, a
Poke
knife
is
or
a-
razor used as a weapon. Shank,
Shank is the same thing.
shank,
They're
yeah.
the same
Shiv,
thing.
shiv
Yeah,
cannot
it's
be the
interchangeable.
verb, but shank can be both, I guess.
Oh,
not where I
if you're in
come
the
from.
house, if
Yeah,
you
you can be shivved.
if you're in the big house, you could be shivved. I'm sure you can.
That's a lot of the Mandela effect, though. You guys are saying just that's how you knew it, but that's just because
That's
you knew it that way
right.
doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's right.
that's right.
Oh gosh, that should be a topic for
Having
another
worked in a juvenile detention center, it's interchangeable.
I've never been to jail, and my hymen is intact.
show. Yeah,
Perfect.
Same here.
I
Rob?
plead the fifth.
Gosh, moving on from
Oh,
that.
my favorite game is the one
yes.
where you argue with people about grammar and semantics. No.
Oh, that's the game of asshole. I love that game.
Yeah, I'm a champion at that, and I'm always right. So I remember having very fond memories of the FASA version of Star Trek. I really liked that. I haven't played it in maybe 25 years, but I really had a good time with that, and that leads me to hoping that a new favorite RPG of mine becomes Star Trek Adventures, which Fantasy Grounds will eventually have a rule set for. So I'm super excited for
will.
that. People are playing it now with the community-based one, but there is somebody working on the official version of the license from the company or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. A runner-up would probably be Savage Worlds because of its mechanics. I somehow just love exploding dice. I just fucking love it.
Yes.
I think it's so
I got
fun.
a
The gimmick.
quick question.
That's what drew me.
I got
into it.
hooked. I got hooked because the first time I ever played Savage World, I rolled a D4 and got like a 31. And I was
Yeah.
like, what happened? And people were blown away. It like re-rolled like, whatever, 8 times.
Yeah.
And people were like, no, that never happens. And it was like the first time I ever rolled. And so I fell in love with it right from that. But yeah, I'm hoping Star Trek is a thing. I've played it once already with a couple guys, and I kind of like the way it's set up. It's a little hard to get used to because they do scenes. You go from scene to scene, but the mechanics of it are pretty cool. And like I said, I've only got one exposure to the new one, but I did buy all the PDFs. I haven't read them yet or anything, but I've got everything.
That's
And I
cool.
was actually just looking at the Humble Bundle site to see, do they have anything I don't have, and they don't. I've got all that stuff.
That's cool.
So, yep, Star Trek. I mean, I don't fuck around, everybody. Star Trek.
Nice.
wow.
You got the Velvet Millennium Falcon
Yep.
too. Huh?
Yeah, your hymen's perfectly protected. We got
It's
it.
perfectly protected.
It's the tattoo they did it.
I only got shanked up here about 90,000 times right here. Yeah.
Shields up. Hey, I got a quick question for you,
Shields
Dave.
up.
I was on Fantasy Grounds Unity the other day, goofing around with the Savage Worlds things, checking it out. 50 Fathoms, which happens to be my favorite Savage World setting.
Much like mine, Gary. You know that's mine as well.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. I got my book signed by Shane. That was pretty sweet. And the artist guy, but I got to think of his name. My question is, I noticed in Unity that it says the Fantasy Grounds or the 50 Fathoms is a Suede version. Did they update that to Adventure Edition?
Yeah, Aki updated all that stuff, yeah.
Man, I got to PayPal that guy some money. That's freaking sweet.
There's
away.
actually a new adventure out for 50 Fathoms also that's been converted for
Fire and Ice.
For Fantasy Grounds, yeah. That would be awesome if a full blown like line came out for 50 Fathoms. That would be like a book for every world, for every continent and stuff. That would be awesome. And then
my problem,
Pirates of the Main and the Dutch and everything else. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Worm.
I was just going to say I didn't look at the first 49 fathoms, so I'd just be lost.
Yeah. The first 49. Oh my God.
I'd just be totally lost because I didn't read the first 49 fathoms. So 50's
I'll tell you what, buddy, only the 50th one matters. So
that's right.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's right. So Rob, do you have any other games besides any other non D&D type games?
Not. It's funny because I haven't really played much other than D&D, right? And there was one that was pretty fun that Zelikar introduced us to on our last get together. It's a German one, and unfortunately, I don't remember the name of it.
Is it
so that's not helping everybody?
World of Darkness or something like that?
No, it's made in Germany, and boy, I just really don't remember that much about it. I just remember having fun with it. I wish I could remember the name of it. But yeah, I played Star Wars a little bit. That's okay. Because I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I don't feel that the Star Wars, there's those 3 Edge of Empire and whatever, all that. They just don't lend themselves because I'm an atypical role player. Like when you play Star Trek, I don't want to play a character I made. I want to play Spock or Kirk or I want to play the guys that were on the shows. And so when you play Star Wars, I want to play Luke or Vader and they don't you don't do that really. And so that's a sort of a turn off for me. I guess you could, but the people that DM it generally don't want to fuck with it. And I guess the problem comes in where here comes Marbania. I guess the problem comes in. Oh no, that's Drake. I'm sorry. The problem comes in when somebody does something in the game, and then you go, "That's not canon. He doesn't do that." Then that's why people don't want to fuck with it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna start an argument like Vader's lightsaber isn't blue, man. You can't do that. Like somebody's gonna freak out.
It's not double-handled. Oh my gosh! And their head's gonna blow up off of their shoulders.
Yeah, it's just gonna explode like scanners. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Worm, what about you?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, Marvel Superheroes for me was one of the first non-D&D one that I loved. Drake already talked mostly about it. A couple of things that kind of, when I look back on it, some of the things that it did, like instead of the stats just being numbers, they equate them to things like, incredible, excellent, and whatever. So it made it kind of neat. And then being able to play your own, this was before Marvel was everywhere. So being able to play superheroes from the comics was kind of sweet. And then the only problem was, and I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, it was considered like when we go to if you play a role-playing game, it's like mostly it'd be older people, but the Marvel superheroes were considered like younger, so people kind of shied away from it for a while. But even now, it's still available. You can download anything. There's a FAFSA Marvel Superheroes version that you can download every module that they have, plus all the rule sets totally converted to be open. And, so Marvel's the first one. I would say the second one is, and probably my favorite, is Gamma World. So Gamma World kind of if you played the original Gary Gygax when he did the spaceship crashing module, you remember that from D&D? I can't remember the name of it, but in D&D, he did this module where a spaceship had crashed, and you're investigating the spaceship, and that's what gave him the idea to go out and do Gamma World and to kind of expand on another system that was already out there. Yeah. So I really love that game, and they've had, I think, 7 iterations of it, and then somebody did I got that same box, and then somebody did even a 5e treatment of Gamma World called Gamma 5, which is also really good. It's kind of out there. It used to be on Wizards of the Coast on one of their links. But Gamma World's awesome. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's like a post-apocalyptic, the future sucks, you pulling up a stop sign and using it as a shield, and the whole world is burnt out, and you've got like aliens that have crashed, you've got crazy mutants, it's really fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, this thing is... I've never played this. I've had this box for 36 years, and I've opened it and looked at it, but I've never used anything inside of it. It's got the crayon in there, and the dice, and the manuals, and sheets of paper, and everything.
Which one was that?
That's Marvel Superheroes.
If
you open it up, there's standees. So if you flip through that, you're going to see... and this was like totally unheard of before. If you pull that out, there's all these cutouts for standees of all the, and they're all professional characters. Mm-hmm. It's all well done. So it's like all this. Yeah, it was really fantastic.
2 oldie-timey D10s with
for all the percentile rolling. Yeah.
And this was probably $1984. This probably was. I wonder if it's on the box. It was probably like $9 or something back then.
Yeah, it's probably worth a lot more than that now.
This has moved with me, and every time you move, you're supposed to throw stuff away, and I just always kept it and kept it and kept it. TSR, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, right?
Yep, I have the same. I have the same box, but mine I laminated because I'm a nerd.
Did you laminate it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I was at school one time and the teachers left the laminating machine open. And I'm like, what the hell? So I laminated so much shit until I got busted.
Why? Yeah. Would you started selling laminated fake IDs for $5?
No, it's just at first because I was like, what is this? And then you start just sliding anything in there, like cheese, a sandwich, and then laminated, you're like, hey, I could actually benefit from this. But yeah, we laminated.
Caught is when you get caught, though. You're like, what's this?
You laminate everything and then you move the next day. That's the pattern.
That's how you do it.
I find it so shady that you work in the banking industry, my friend.
Well, now I do, but now I'm perfectly good.
Robin, what about
everybody's doing air quotes?
Yes, just winking at the camera. What about you, Robin?
I decided to work in the banking industry right after I saw Superman 3.
Yeah, so that you could get a quarter penny from everybody's check. Oh my God!
What's funny is that's like a real thing too.
Oh yeah.
In computers, you have this round off error, and a lot of times after a certain decimal point, you'll just drop it. But so if you could compromise the systems, it's kind
Superman 3 made that famous in like '87 or whatever year that was, and then '83. And then Office Space remade that idea.
Oh, yeah, Office Space.
Yeah. Robin, these are movies we're talking about? That's what we're
talking
about. Robin, everybody wants you to...
I see Dave's mouth moving, but I can't hear him talking.
Yeah, there's several people that actually want you to pick up your burger and take a bite out of it for me.
Oh, okay. I'll do that, I guess.
Mukbang, everybody.
We don't want to deprive you of that pretzel.
Yeah, we don't want to deprive you or anything, so feel free to take a bite out of it. If you
feel like this is like an OnlyFans site.
This thing is incredibly gigantic. It's huge.
Wow, nice pretzel roll. My gosh, I'm jealous.
What store is that from, Robin? I want you to answer me right now. I want to know an answer right now.
She just found it right there on her desk. It's been there for like a week.
While you're eating it, can you do the rest of us a favor and just put your foot up on screen somewhere too?
Just relax and.
Oh God.
I think we.
I missed that joke. I don't know what that joke is.
Because we're going through all the fetishes. There's like a burger fetish,
I got
a foot fetish.
Oh boy.
I got a chef salad I can go get. I told Robin I was going to eat it during the stream.
How about?
Oh my God, it's so good.
How about I love some onion rolls. Oh my goodness, I get either
so
onion rolls or pretzel rolls when I do my Walmart grocery order. When I make my roast beef sandwiches and stuff. Oh my goodness, so good.
I order Walmart groceries too, Dave. I've been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah, it's you
I
just
love pretzels.
pull up and they shove it in your car for you. Here you go, sir.
That's
Have a
it,
great-"
you're gone.
And then sometimes
Gone.
they give you a nice little blue
Shove
carry
it in
bag.
your
Here's some
car.
free samples
Yep,
for you.
they give you
Thank
some
you.
sample stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Robin,
listen.
where's that from?
So there's this little it's not little, it's a big restaurant like the size of like a Red Robin or but it's not a chain restaurant. Anyways, it's called Anastasia's, and they
okay.
you can, as an option, you can get a pretzel bun instead of like a regular hamburger bun
Hell yeah.
on your burgers.
Pay
Oh
the
my
extra.
gosh, they're
It's
so
worth
good.
it. Yeah.
It's so good.
So, Dave, let me tell you a little secret so you don't need to worry about getting your orders from Walmart. If you go to Panera Bread, they just leave food out in a little box. You can just take it. You don't even need to pay. You just grab it. They all
Right
think
back to
it's
the
you.
criminal stuff.
It's what everybody
Well,
that's had coronavirus has had their hands in there and stuff. Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
It's nice.
Dave, you're immune. You don't care.
Yeah, it's still, it's like I was told, hey, they don't know. I mean, it could,
No.
I could get it again. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm not taking
it
any
has
chances.
not been proven yet or not whether even if you have the antibodies from having it before,
Yeah.
you still might get it again.
Yeah.
Well, that's the chances of getting chickenpox again too, but that
So what
can't
are-
happen.
What are some favorite non D&D games that you've played before, Robin?
Oh, right. Yes. I was like,
Not favorite
Okay,
hamburger
so-
joints, but favorite.
right.
I thought we were talking about food, damn it.
Can you
I'm really
take a bite of
glad
that burger
actually.
and tell us?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Can you take a
Talking
bite
to
of
your
that burger? Talk with your mouth full.
and no, I'm not going to do
Jesus,
that
Gary.
because
That is somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm sure it is, but I won't do it. So I'm really
Gary?
glad. First of all, nobody has said the same one that I'm about to say, which is crazy because I don't have that much experience outside of Dungeons and Dragons. So I was quite certain that somebody would say the same one as me because I have not played that many. But I'll give an honorable mention to the one that Schmo introduced me to, Shadow of the Demon Lord. I
Yes.
had so much fun playing that.
Yes.
It was a blast. So that's my honorable mention. But no, my favorite non-D&D system that I played is Cypher System. I played that for about 6 months with a friend of mine, Shane, on his Twitch channel. And we had a blast, and I really liked it. I liked the setting that we played in was called Vert, and it takes place in like London or somewhere in the UK. And it was like futuristic. There were like these feathers you could do. They were like drugs, but it would like put you in an alternate reality. So we could do, we did like an Old West scenario. We, ate the feathers and then we were in the Wild West. And, it was really crazy, but we had a lot of fun. And that was built in the Cypher system. And I really
So
liked it.
was that the Strange? Were you guys working in the Strange, or were you just core Cypher system? Because what's really cool about the Cypher system, I mean, I love it. That would have been my third, but Cypher system I love. But then they introduced as part of that the Strange, and the Strange is like this, between dimensions you can like shift, and it allows people to explain how you can take and play D&D with the Cypher system one day, and then a superhero game with the next time. And in the Strange, it's cool because you can take your same characters, and then you can, just like what you said, move from one game of D&D to superheroes to Western to whatever, and has all these rules for how you would summon a gate to go through, and it's really, really excellent.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Strange. So we played Raven Dusk Games makes the setting called Vert, VURT, and that was the setting that we played in. And in that setting, they had like this almost like a augmented reality sort of. It was very futuristic, and they had these items. They were ciphers themselves, and they were called feathers, and you could like take them like a drug, and it would put you into like a virtual reality. So our characters we were all criminals, and we were like being hunted by, you know, the bad guys, and we would constantly hop in and out of like different feathers, trying to like avoid getting caught and stuff like that. And yeah, we
Oh,
had
that's
like all
cool.
kinds of crazy. We did like a film noir, like 1920s Cthulhu sort of adventure. It was really fun. And then the next one we went into like this Wild West one. We were trying to get like this really powerful 6-shooter, and we just had so much fun. And I'll
that's
never
awesome.
forget that experience. I had a lot of fun with it.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that's like a common theme for me in any of the systems that I like, that I think is a plus over D&D, is I like the games where it's, you know, D&D, you like roll and then you check the armor class and then, oh, I hit, it didn't hit. But I like the games like Cypher, where you Cypher and Icons and things like that, where you have to
Savage
roll
Worlds, yeah.
to against that roll. So it lets
Mhm.
it lets
Savage
somebody
Worlds.
participate through the whole game instead of having a person that just kind of kicks back and just like
Yeah.
lets it happen. And
That's
especially
what I
with
liked about Cypher. The players
Yeah.
do all the roles. The DM can just concentrate on
Mhm.
DMing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I really liked it. So that's it. That's all I've got.
So I
I've
guess
not
I'm.
played much outside of D&D.
Oh, well, it's cool. You know, the more you play, the more games you'll play, and hey, that list could change. So, you know, I've got I've been playing since '84, and I've played quite a few games. But I'll have to say my honorable mention would have to probably be. I'd have to say, old school TSR Star Frontiers. I remember we had a great time playing that. That was a D100 game, and it had a lot of hex stuff, starships, and that was not like your typical D&D where you just were going into dungeons and towns and stuff. So you were on ships. You had there was all kinds of like starship combat and stuff like that. So yeah, I would have to say my honorable mention, seeing that everybody else is doing them, I would have to say Star Frontiers. But I was going to mention Shadow of the Demon Lord because I love Shadow of the Demon Lord as well.
It is
and
awesome.
That game is wild.
Yeah, I actually really love that game. I've got most of the books, but I'm going to say, since you mentioned it, I'm not going to talk about Shadow of the Demon Lords because it is an awesome game, though. It's very dark and gloomy, and that's what I like about it. But I'm going to say, and Gary, you've also mentioned Savage Worlds. I love Savage Worlds.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to mention 13th Age.
Ooh.
I really like 13th Age. I'm a huge 4E fan, as everybody knows about, and I know I'm in the minority when I say that. I think, Rob, you liked it too, right? You liked 4E? That's what you actually really came back and started playing, right? Or
Yeah, so I came back to D&D with 4E from first edition. I never played second or third or 3.5.
Yeah.
And I liked 4E until 5th edition came out, and then 4E became a non-factor for me.
You liked 4th edition? Did I hear that?
When it
correct?
was, I liked it when it was all there was to have. Yes.
Yeah.
But
it was
you could have just
D&D.
played 3rd.
Yeah, but that wasn't my opportunity. I just, I never.
Yeah.
You got to understand.
I'm just joshing you.
I played first edition, and then I didn't play for 22 years. And then I came back.
There's actually really cool stuff in 4th edition, no matter how much hate it gets. There's interesting things in it.
The only thing I don't really like about 4th edition, and I didn't understand this at the time, but looking back, they tried to make it a video game. They tried to make it like, WoW. And so
I'll disagree with that, but
well,
the game evolved.
Yeah, but 5th edition to me is the perfect game. It's like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a perfect movie for those of you that have seen it. There's nothing wrong with that movie. And 5th edition to me, there's nothing wrong with it. It's really good. They finally figured it out after 40 years. Yeah, Dave, I see your face.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the best edition.
I'm always curious to hear what people don't like about 5th edition, because usually the things they say they don't like, I don't have a problem with.
How about we save that for next month? That is a great topic for
do
next
that.
month. What we like and what we don't like.
No,
I just said what we like and what we dislike about D&D 5th
yeah,
edition.
we can
How about
we
that?
can talk about that.
Great topic for next month, because I know everybody here has played D&D 5th
And I actually have one thing I don't like, which I will reveal on the next time.
All right. So that's next month's topic. But yeah, I like 13th Age, and it reminded me a lot of D&D 4th edition. Of course, it's made by Rob Heinzu, which was the creative director of D&D 4th edition. So I think 13th Age was how he envisioned 4th edition to be. I think I saw him mention that in an article, much like how Gary Gygax said Castles and Crusades was how he envisioned Advanced, but it was too late. Too many hands were involved in Advanced, etc. So, but yeah, that's why I really gravitated towards 13th Age. I love the simplicity of character creation, the customization. I'm big into character customization. Not for me as a DM, but for my players, because players love choices. And there's lots of choices. And I love the dice rolls. I love the flat damage from monsters and stuff. You don't have to roll damage. You just say, okay, the barbaric black ooze slime hits you for 27 damage. I do like that. I like the very open skill system it has, to where you just add whatever skills you want on your character as long as it kind of goes with your background. And then I like the one unique thing. But yeah, I like 13th Age. I like it. There's only 10 levels in 13th Age. I love how the weapons progress. So if you have your crappy handy-dandy longsword at level 1 at 1d8 plus strength damage, when you hit the next tier, which is level 4, you do ×2 strength modifier. So you automatically get an upgrade there. And then if you're level 4, instead of doing 1d8, you do 4d8. So every time you go up another level, your hit die for your weapon goes up. So you just start to see by default more and more damage, and I like that. I think it's a great system. But I think 13th Age is going to be probably my favorite game that I haven't played that wasn't D&D. Although I am enjoying Pathfinder 2 as well. So, and
have you done
Starfinder.
13th Age Fantasy Grounds games, Dave?
I have. No, not Fantasy Grounds, but
I was just about to ask.
Yeah,
is there a rule set for it?
Yeah, the rule set's $45.
Yeah,
but
there is.
It's
one.
probably really super good.
I want it.
It's basically the 4th edition rule set that was reskinned. So, okay. When I sold all my, I had 18 boxes of books that I sold to a game store when I first moved to El Paso. Unfortunately, that was some of the stuff that I sold was my 13th Age stuff, and I regret that so much now, because I just enjoyed the way that the game played, and it was so easy to play, and I regret selling it. But I had everything at the time for it, so.
I think that's where I first found you, Dave. You were playing 13th Age with the Seagull Soup.
Yeah, we were playing with Captain Ahab and Wilbur, his first mate, and everybody else, and that was a fun game. That game, that game transitioned me from a very, very combat heavy DM, as in kick in the door and roll initiative, to, in the first 15 minutes, my players were role playing like I've never seen before, because I had a couple new players. And I was like, wow, this is out of my league here. And I was kind of like deer in the headlights. And then I'm like, well, this game is going to crash and burn if I just don't start. I had to kick up my game like instantly during the session. And ever since then, I had such a great time. That was probably the funnest campaign that I ever ran. And it was amazing. And just the role play of that game was amazing. I mean, I had Captain Ahab turned on his camera, and he's got a pirate hat on and a freaking eye patch and holding a little plastic pirate sword. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, but the thing is, that guy
just
normally wears that stuff.
Yeah, well, he was.
He normally wears that stuff. He was trying to find a game where it wouldn't be embarrassing.
Yeah. And then I had Wee Willie. That was his first game with me. So, he's a role play fanatic as well. And I was like so out of my element. I did not know what to do. And the first time it came back to me, the captain's like, because I was playing an NPC called Cookie. He was the cook of the ship, and he goes, the captain said, "So, Cookie, what's for dinner tonight?" And I had no clue. I didn't role play or anything like that. And I said, "Seagull soup, Captain," or some shit like that. I said, "We got a bunch of seagulls that are caught in the nets and the ladders and the ropes, and we're having seagulls tonight, Captain. And everybody just started laughing. And it just became so much easier. And I started, doing a bunch of corny voices for, but that game made me transition as a DM from all combat to like, I gotta start doing some different shit. So yeah, that was a fun game, but that's it for me. So we're coming towards the end. We were going to go ahead and give away a Fantasy Grounds Ultimate license for Classic or Unity, whatever the winner would prefer. But I think we're going to hold off on that until next month. So because I want to find, I have Stream Elements. But there's something going on with my Stream Elements, and I think I'm going to find actually, I used to use a giveaway program that was a Chrome extension. I don't know if you guys ever remember that Twitch giveaway Chrome extension.
Yes.
Well, the one that I have doesn't work anymore. I was trying to fiddle around with it when we were talking about our favorite non-D&D games. So I think we're going to hold off on the giveaway, if you guys don't mind, until next month, until I can find a better solution for a giveaway. And next month we will give away a Fantasy Grounds Ultimate license. We'll buy it and give it to you. So it will be either Classic or Unity, whatever you prefer. So we'll do that next month. So plus we'll promote it all during the month. And plus we have our topic for next month as well. What we like and dislike about D&D 5th edition. So I think that would be a great topic for next month, to be honest, because we're all D&D 5e fans here. So except for maybe Gary. So
can we do favorite fetish too?
Wow.
Sure.
Wow. That'll
Hamburger with a foot, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Beards.
That will be
what?
after midnight. And you'll be the only one here, probably.
What?
She goes beards, and then she goes,
Pudding.
what?
That's
Drake and
great.
I guess we're out. No beards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So thanks everybody for
Come on.
hanging out with us for our August roundtable. I plan on doing a Pathfinder 2 one-shot with 4 folks that want to join. I mentioned it last month, but I've had a lot of issues in life that I'm going with right now with my mother and stuff. So that has not been forgotten. In fact, I've got it all set up. But I'll put some more info in the channel about getting that game going. And we'll run that sometime during August. And then, because I actually have 13 of these that I want to run. Because these little 1-hour Pathfinder 2 society adventures, they're beautiful for, little short 1-hour one-shots. So, and they actually are really nice with beautiful cartography and art and a great story. So, not hand-drawn maps. Shots fired. But, yeah.
Shots fired.
We'll go ahead and we'll do a one shot this month, and next month we will have a topic of what we like and dislike about 5e, and we'll also go ahead and give away Fantasy Grounds Ultimate license next month to one lucky viewer. So thanks everybody for hanging out again. Everybody, thanks for joining us in the roundtable. You guys have a good month, and we'll see you guys again next month for that giveaway. And until next time, happy gaming and stay safe. Bye, everybody.